You're now tuned in to By the Dipshits exclusive content. This is a three-part interview with Jarred Weisfeld O.D.B, last manager. Before we jump into the interview, By the Dipshits want to give a special thanks to our sponsors. What is Galaxy Wells? Galaxy is a metaphor which represents infinite space. Their goal is to dominate the infinite space in the digital publishing universe. Wells are the major corporation that possess endless amounts of content. What do? They turn content into currency in the digital space, the home of the NFTs. You want to keep your ownership and intellectual property? Then stop what you're doing and go to galaxywells.com. Now I'm back to By the Dipshits. This is another episode of By the Dipshits. It's where the dip creates the opportunity. I'm Mills.
I'm D. Lamaj.
I'm JC.
Today's episode, he was rap superstar, legend, Old Dirty Bastard, aka Dirt McGirt, last manager, Jarred Weisfeld.
So at this point, your negotiation skills and just your business skills is coming up to par. But how did the Rocafella deal come about with Dirty?
But hold on. Before he talk about that, right? I wanted to know, right? Because Puff, you know what I'm saying, he was a young, hungry, ambitious executive of Uptown Records, and he was so ambitious that he was able to use that as a springboard for his music mogul career, right? Did you have a predetermined outcome of how you thought the show would come out overall? Like doing like the VH1 stuff with?
Well, I thought the show was going to do well. Now you got to realize back then on VH1, like nothing was rating, right? So they gave Wendy Williams a show. And I remember making a bet with the guy that helped create that show. I was like, I bet you dinner that my show, the On Parole with O.D.B, outrates your show, right? And he was like, never going to happen. I'll take that bet. Well, he still owes me dinner because we destroyed her show. I mean, that show has the On Parole with O.D.B has a cult following. I mean, if you look at YouTube now, I think it's like you get hundreds of thousands of people that are watching this thing. I think it's over 1 million views and whatnot. And I mean, it was watched by millions of people. I mean, I didn't realize the impact that it was going to have, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I was walking the streets the day the show aired, and I was getting stopped all over the place. And I didn't realize that the show had aired in the afternoon, right? So I was getting stopped all over the place. Man, I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. That's not me, right? And I didn't like put two and two together like, wow, this was going to be a big show. I thought it was going to do well, but I didn't realize it was going to do as well. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't realize that the hip hop fan base was as aggressive in trying to get signed to record labels and all that stuff as it possibly was. I mean, I had people calling my parents' house. So my mom, I'll never forget this. I get a phone call from some random stranger asking me if he could send me a demo tape, right? I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know how you got my number, but I'm sorry, I'm not taking on any new clients at the time. And I was like, but how did you get my number? He's like, he's like, your mother told me that you were the right person to call. I was like, and how do you get in touch with my mother? He's like, I called your home number. I was like, oh, okay. So I called my mom up. I'm like, Mom, like, don't be giving my number out. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, just don't give it out. Like, seriously. I was like, don't give it out and make your number private. And so she made her number, my parents' house made their number private. I made my apartment number private, right? Because I didn't realize, like, you don't think like you're gonna be like some random like manager, like you're gonna be like, nobody like has any clue who I am, right? Like this is gonna be perfect. And then all of a sudden, like at Dirty's funeral, there was a car. I mean, there was like 15 people lined up waiting for me to get out of my car to hand me demo tapes at his funeral.
At his
funeral? Out of control. At his funeral, yeah, they were lined up waiting for me to get out of the car. I could kind of
see that. I could kind of see people who just don't care and don't have like the respect. I can see that.
they called my mother. It was crazy. And then, I was like, then people on the street, they were like, I was like, that's not me. It's just not me. I don't know who you're talking about. And but I think like like when it really hit me, me and Dirty and Buddha and his and three of his children went to I took them to holiday dinner at Junior's, and there was a table next to us of like a family, and Dirty would always say hello, and if somebody wanted to take a picture with him, he'd do pictures, autographs, whatever it may be, right? So this young kid, must have been 12 years old, young girl, comes up to him and says, "Hey, Dirty, can I take a picture with you?" He says, "Of course." So he takes a picture with her, right? And she goes, "Can I take a picture with you and Jarred?" Right? And Dirty and I like look at each other like, what the hell is going on here? Right? And I was like, "How do you know me?" And she goes, "A TV show." I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, just take a picture with him. You're good." You don't want me in that photo, right? It was kind of like, then Dirty and I were just like, "Oh, wow." Because we were just like, that show, like, we can't believe how many people watched it, right? That a little kid that's like 12 years old, like, watched the show and like knew who I was. I should be like the last person that she should know, right? And that's when, Dirty started hysterical laughing. And, I didn't take a picture. He did. And then he took one with the entire family and whatnot. But yeah, that's when it kind of like hit me like, wow, this thing's like legit. Like, we did something great here. Like, his life is going in the right direction, right? And it is what it is. But then you hear like other people, like, the issue is when one person has success like Dirty, and other people really aren't being talked about in the news that people want to get talked about, right?
Right.
Then you have an issue, right? Other people get jealous, and they get jealous of them, right? So it was kind of like, yo, like, what do you want to do? And like, give the guy a break. So for some reason, I don't know what the reason is, but like, Wu-Tang just had such problems with me and Dirty. Like, they felt like we were going in like a crazy direction, but like, we didn't do anything, right? Like, he had a solo career, he had a TV show, right? Like, what did we do wrong? And it was kind of like we didn't do anything wrong. They just had different plans, right? They wanted, he wanted out of, he didn't want to be, he thought that he was better off having his own record deal, and he thought he was better off being in the band, just like he used to be. And he never left Wu-Tang Clan at all, but he wanted his own life outside of it. And when they sent that cease and desist letter, we were just kind of like, this is a joke. And I know, somebody says that they just let him out, and they didn't. They just let him out free and clear. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but I can tell you that is the furthest thing from the truth. Nobody let him out free and clear.
So wait, he was still attached to that agreement?
No, I had to do some negotiating to get him out of that agreement. And let's just say that negotiating wasn't as simple as, "Oh, sure, I'm gonna let him out." Bye. Nah, it wasn't like that at all.
Did it take money, or was it just negotiation, or did it points? Was it like publishing?
No, so it was like, I wasn't giving anybody money for free. That wasn't happening. It wasn't like, hey, like, it was more like, I'm gonna let you do this many tracks on an album. You're gonna get paid this amount of money, and then that's it. It's over. Right? Done. So what happened was, I was like, okay, well, you could do this, and you're gonna be on this. You're gonna do this 4 times, 5 times. We didn't even have to use it at all. Right? You're gonna get this amount per track, and that's it. He's done. So what I did was I was using a recording budget, right, to get tracks of songs that he was going to use, mind you, but it wasn't going to be like, okay, here's a check, like, let us go our own way. It was like, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not letting anybody get a check off of him, right? Like, it's not working that way. Like, and so they had to earn that money in order for him to be released, right? It wasn't Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it was a creative way to get him out of. Was they wanted money, and it was like, you're not getting money. I'll let you produce 5 songs, and you'll get paid X amount for those songs, and then we're done with you.
Exclusive content by the Dipshits.